Good afternoon. My name is Chen Zhang, and my thesis is God Design. This project is basically creating new gods in a contemporary context for modern everyday life concerns. In simple words, I am designing gods. Let me tell you about my inspiration. It came from the experience when I was living in Beijing. I had a car parked outside of my apartment. Almost every morning, I went to my car. There would be some bird poops covering my windshield. Those were not easy to be removed. Growing up in a polytheism culture, I was thinking, there is God of love. There is God of wealth. There are gods of a lot of things. Why isn't there a God who can prevent birds from dropping their poops to my car? Then I came to ITP and took this art toy design class and made this little god who is only in charge of preventing birds' poops falling onto people's vehicles. I was thinking, will new gadgets and tools being invented and upgraded to enhance people's physical life? Gods, on the other hand, have not been updated for a rather long time. What if we could create new gods that specifically address modern daily problems? I think this is also the question that I'm trying to answer in this project. Well, I found I'm not the only person who has this idea. Many new deities have been added into Hinduism these years based on people's needs. They have been very imaginative and pragmatic at the same time. For example, this Visa temple in southern India is a very popular temple for people to pray for their visa getting approved. People come to pray for a good result for American work visa lottery as well. I think, maybe I got a potential market there. Or maybe the nearest market is that I could make a god for getting better results for course selection lottery for ITP students. Without inspirations, how do I design those gods? I sent out Google Forms asking people what their small everyday life concerns are. Based on all those concerns that I have collected, I started to think about some basic points that I can follow when I design those gods. First, most of them address specific problems. They have limited power, focusing on one field, so they're professionals. Then, just like the traditional gods have their weapons, all those gods use familiar objects from everyday life to impose their power, but they use them in a different way. They're all illustrated in a simple and consistent visual style. They mainly address modern life concerns, which the conventional gods might not be good at. Then I created all the gods. Here are some of them. And let's look at some cases. If the concern is I worry that someday I won't have anyone to date with, which is actually from my survey. Here is God of relationship. He's a cloud arcade master. He will grab you and your crush and drop you into love. It is literally fall in love. Hair loss, which is kind of my concern as well. And here comes the god of hair. He would remote control the drone to sow the seed on your head and make sure your hair will be grown out of your head. Actually, he has a partner who do the rest of the farming and maintaining, introducing the goddess of hair farming. This is a typical problem in New York. The rats in the subway station. And here we got a god of rat control who is a traffic controller, and he uses cheese as the roadblock to stop the rats. After I designed many numbers of gods, how do I showcase them? I used to work in a museum. I dreamed of showing them in a gallery. but I might need a god of money to do that. Then I decided to make them smaller and more accessible to everyone. I put them on cards. So the next question is how to build a better communication with my audience. Originally, I was thinking about a physical installation. However, due to COVID-19, I was not able to continue working on it. I made a pivot and went on to make a simple interactive website. It is rendered as a God search engine. Because I would like it to be intuitive and familiar, it looks like the typical search engine websites. It is where you input your concern and be interned with a God. I am going to play a demo video here. Upon entering the website, you'll hear the music that I made to make the experience more complete. Input a concern, and then a natural language processing library will clean this sentence into keywords. Match the keywords with the God's database. At the same time, the keywords will be sent to Runway. There is a GPT-2 model taking the keyword as a prompt and generate the text as what this God has to say to you. You will also see a description of how this God works. Since it's impossible to include everything the user inputs, and I don't have that many gods yet. And here, I fast forward a little bit, comes the God of God Searcher. So he comes when this God is not found, and I will get that request and work on those gods that I didn't have. Although I wasn't able to make the physical installation, I still would like to show what would it feels like if it was built. It is inspired by many pop-up shrines within communities where people could go worship very conveniently in India and Japan. Also, it took some concept of a fortune-telling room. I would like to combine the vibe of a traditional worship and fortune-telling with the high-tech product aesthetic, not only on the object, but also for the entire experience. This is a rough prototype that I made before the pandemic. I would like it to be a room experience, and you will first see this lantern outside the room as a signboard. Then you enter the room and see this table and this interface, and I will be sit behind that interface, manipulating this machine. You will hear the music as well. You will sit there and write one of your daily small concerns on the paper. And then you inject the paper into the interface. After a while, a God card will be returned through the God portal. Another light up. If you put the card under the light, the God's words and description will be appeared. I asked about people's feelings about my gods and experience. Here are some feedbacks. Oddly warm, weird but fun, whimsical, quirky. If it is really a moment of joy, then it works. And for the next step, I consider this project as a living project. I will continue designing the gods, and I will be a professional god designer. I might write more about the designing decisions in creating the gods as a section on the website, and a gallery page to show all the gods that I've been working on. Also, I will improve the physical installation by making more iterations on the forms as well as the entire experience. Hopefully, I could make it in a public space someday. I would like to express my sincere thankfulness to my entire thesis class, and also those people who have inspired me and guided me along this journey. Thank you very, very much. Finally, Just in case of no applause or everybody was muted, I made a god of applause to please myself. Thank you.